Most people are not destroyed by one tragic moment. They are destroyed slowly through emotional reactions, lack of discipline, and small bad decisions repeated every day. In a world full of chaos, distractions, and pressure, the ability to control your emotions, stay calm under stress, and move with discipline instead of impulse has become one of the rarest and most powerful skills a person can develop. Section 1. Master your emotions. You will never fully master your life until you learn how to master your emotions. Most people do not lose opportunities because they lack intelligence. They lose them because they lose control. They speak too quickly. They react too sharply. They let anger, fear, pride, insecurity, or frustration take over before wisdom has a chance to speak. The world does not always destroy people. Many times their reactions do. A person disrespects you, and you react. A plan falls apart, and you react. Someone ignores you, criticizes you, or embarrasses you, and before you know it, your emotions are driving the car while your judgment sits helpless in the back seat. That is where mistakes happen. That is where relationships break. That is where reputations are damaged. That is where one careless sentence can create a problem that takes months or years to repair. The first rule of emotional mastery is simple. Stop reacting and start responding. Reacting is automatic. Responding is intentional. Reacting is emotion without discipline. Responding is strength under control. Your new formula is this: pause, breathe, decide. When something triggers you, do not answer immediately. Do not send the message. Do not raise your voice. Do not make a decision while your emotions are still hot. Pause. Take one slow breath. Let your mind return to the room. Then decide who you want to be in that moment. That small gap between what happens and what you do next is where your power lives. Most people never find that gap. They live as slaves to impulse. They feel something and they obey it. They confuse intensity with truth. They believe that because they feel angry, they must act angry. Because they feel afraid, they must retreat. Because they feel hurt, they must attack. But feelings are not commands. They are signals. Anger may tell you a boundary was crossed. Fear may tell you preparation is needed. Sadness may tell you something mattered. But none of those emotions should be allowed to take over your identity or control your behavior. You can feel anger without becoming cruel. You can feel fear without becoming weak. You can feel sadness without becoming broken. That is emotional maturity. The strongest people are not emotionless. They simply do not let emotion rule them. They feel deeply, but they act wisely. They experience pressure, but they remain steady. They face disrespect, but they do not hand their peace to every person who tries to provoke them. Real power is not being loud. Real power is restraint. Anyone can yell. Anyone can insult. Anyone can explode. Anyone can send the angry text. But it takes strength to stay calm when your pride wants revenge. It takes discipline to remain silent when your ego wants the last word. It takes maturity to choose peace when chaos is inviting you to join. That is the kind of person you are training yourself to become. From this moment forward, remember this: you do not owe anyone an instant emotional reaction. You do not have to attend every argument you are invited to. You do not have to defend yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Pause, breathe, decide. That is how you take your power back. Section 2. Detach from drama. Drama is expensive. It costs your peace. It costs your energy. It costs your focus. And if you are not careful, it will cost your future. Most people do not realize how much of their life is wasted reacting to things that do not deserve their attention. A rude comment, a social media post, a jealous person, a family argument, a coworker's attitude, a stranger's opinion. One small irritation after another slowly drains the mind until there is no energy left for purpose. That is why emotional discipline requires detachment. Detachment does not mean you do not care. It means you care wisely. It means you stop giving premium emotional access to low-value distractions. It means you stop letting every person, every mood, and every situation control your inner world. Your attention is power. Where your attention goes, your energy follows, and what you repeatedly feed will grow. If you feed drama, drama grows. If you feed resentment, resentment grows. If you feed fear, fear grows. But if you feed discipline, discipline grows. If you feed peace, peace grows. If you feed focus, focus grows. That is why you must become selective. Not every conflict deserves your response. Not every insult deserves your defense. Not every misunderstanding needs an explanation. Sometimes silence is not weakness. Sometimes silence is strategy. There is an old saying, "Do not wrestle with pigs. You both get dirty, and the pig enjoys it." Drama works the same way. You cannot win an emotional argument with an undisciplined person because they are not looking for truth. They are looking for a reaction. The moment you react, they have pulled you into their world. Do not go there. Let people talk. Let them misunderstand. Let them project. Let them spin in their own storm. You stay steady. That does not mean you let people abuse you. It means you do not lower yourself to chaos. You set boundaries. You walk away. You protect your peace. You choose your battles like a person with purpose, not like a person controlled by pride. The disciplined mind asks one question before reacting. Does this deserve my energy? If the answer is no, move on. That one question can save you from arguments, embarrassment, regret, and emotional exhaustion. You must guard your environment. The people around you matter. If your circle is full of gossip, complaining, jealousy, outrage, and negativity, your mind will absorb that energy. You cannot build a peaceful life while constantly surrounded by emotional noise. Distance yourself from people who are addicted to drama. Limit access to those who only bring tension. Choose people who challenge you, strengthen you, and bring clarity to your life. Peace is not accidental. Peace is protected. And the more you detach from drama, the more powerful you become. Why? Because now you control your focus. You control your energy. You control your reactions. You are no longer available for every emotional emergency. That is freedom. So remember this. Choose peace over proving. Choose calm over chaos. Choose silence over unnecessary conflict. You do not have to fight every battle. You only have to protect the life you are building. Section 3. Discipline over mood. Winners do not live by mood. They live by discipline. That is the truth most people never accept. Most people only move when they feel motivated. They work when they feel inspired. They show up when it is convenient. They stay calm when life is easy. Then they wonder why nothing changes. But your feelings do not determine your future. Your discipline does. You will not always feel focused. You will not always feel strong. You will not always feel ready. You will not always feel calm. But if you build your life around feelings, your life will always be unstable because feelings change constantly. Discipline is what remains when motivation disappears. The soldier does not ask, "Do I feel like training today?" The athlete does not ask, "Am I motivated to practice?" The professional does not ask, "Do I feel ready to perform?" They act because they decided. That is the difference. You do not speak calmly because you are not angry. You speak calmly because you are disciplined. You do not keep your promise because it is easy. You keep it because your word matters. You do not show up because you feel perfect. You show up because you made a commitment. That is discipline over mood. Discipline is freedom because it frees you from emotional slavery. When you train yourself to act regardless of how you feel, you stop being controlled by every wave of emotion that passes through your mind. You can feel tired and still move. You can feel nervous and still lead. You can feel angry and still remain composed. You can feel doubt and still continue. That is strength. Start by deciding your standards before emotion arrives. Do not wait until you are tired to decide if you are disciplined. Do not wait until you are angry to decide if you are calm. Do not wait until you are tempted to decide if you have values. Decide in advance. Say to yourself, no matter how I feel, this is who I am. This is how I behave. This is what I will do. Then build systems that support that standard. Put your alarm across the room. Prepare your work the night before. Remove distractions. Make weakness harder and discipline easier. Stop asking, how do I feel? Start asking, did I do what I said I would do? That is the real scoreboard. Because the world does not reward your mood, it rewards your follow-through. You do not get respected for your potential. You get respected for consistency. You do not build confidence by waiting to feel confident. You build confidence by keeping promises to yourself. Every time you act despite your mood, you strengthen your identity. You become the kind of person who moves, not the kind of person who waits. You become reliable to yourself. And when you can trust yourself, your entire life changes. So remember this: do not move because you feel ready. Move because you decided. That is mastery. That is emotional control. That is how you become unshakable.